Yeah, so the biggest thing is once you start a loan, don't go and open up any new trade lines. And we've had deals we've got down there too before closing, and they'll go to the furniture store, buy a whole house of furniture, and blow their debt ratios out of the water.
This is like Family Feud, I'd say the number one answer is don't quit your job before you close. I've had people quit their jobs and say, well, you pre-approved me, I quit my job. So
what advice would you give them right now?
Well, it is a good time to buy because rates have come down marginally.
All right, folks, welcome to Beyond the Sign with Kyler Robbins. He is our host. My name is Joey Pegler, and today we have two legends with us. We have Chris Nasari, as I like to call him, Nagasari, and then we've got Danny, the Fergie Ferguson. They are our premier lenders here in Mountain Home, Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, Kyler, take us away. What are we doing today? Well, first, we'll let Mr. Nasari tell us what we're doing today. He put out a proposition just a minute ago. But, Kyler, what are we doing today?
So we brought these two legends in to learn a little bit more about Chris and about Danny and kind of what their day-to-day tasks look like as far as the loan. But, maybe throw a little bit of some wild stories in there or whatever you guys got. So, Danny, we'll start with you. How'd you get in real estate? Lending. I always say real estate, but
it's part of the real estate business.
It's part of it. Sure. So how long you been in the lending business, and why'd you just choose Nasari of all people?
So this is my 10th year. So I was in financial advising before then, and Chris was a client. Come to my office one day and said, what do you think about home loans? I said, I don't know. He said, let's go to dinner. Here I am.
Haven't you guys been buddies, though? Didn't you guys kind of grow up together a little bit?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So that had nothing to do with it, that we've been friends since we were 14 years old. I just met him in his office one day.
Is he the reason you're so successful? He was your financial advisor, and you were like, man, this guy's helped me out so much. How could he help others, maybe just in the whole lending process, really?
Do I have to answer that?
No.
It would be nice, yeah.
No, yeah, Danny's super smart. So, and he'd got into financial planning, but, he was been one of my best friends growing up, and I thought he'd do a great job in mortgage lending. He has. So I think last year he was number 8 in the state of Arkansas as far as top mortgage lenders in a 12-month period. So
wow,
he's killing it.
Where were
Super
you?
proud of him.
Where were you?
I was 22, I think.
That's terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not terrible.
So this other guy talking that has no introduction is Chris Nasari. So Chris, tell us a little bit how you got into the business, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I've been in the business for 30 years. I moved back to Mountain Home after being in the mortgage business in Joplin, Missouri for about 8 months, and opened up my own company. I was 24 years old, I think. So
8 months. Would you recommend, other people in your industry that have been in the business for 8 months to go out on their own? Was that a smart move?
I don't know. You don't know any better when you're 24 years old. So
That's fair.
yeah, you know how that goes. $5,000 in my pocket. That's what I opened my company with. I think I still have $5,000 in my pocket 30 years later.
But you got other ventures too, right? So you just got a new club, got revamped. Tell us a little bit about that.
Legacy Racket and Fitness here in Mountain Home. My parents actually built it in the 70s, and we're the 5th owners, and we've totally redone it and added tennis court, added more fitness. It's the premier fitness facility in Arkansas, and our club just got awarded 2 more awards, and we're super excited.
You still playing quite a bit of tennis?
I do.
Danny, what about you? Playing any tennis?
No, I don't play any.
I mean, you're
He's
just
a golfer.
You a golfer?
He's a golfer and a hunter.
Hey, I'm starting to like you even more, Danny.
Oh, Kyler, he just killed a big old
I
buck.
did see his Facebook.
Yeah. Danny's also a farmer too, so yeah. So
Hey, when you kill a buck and you take a picture, I'm not a deer hunter. I prefer to photograph them instead. I think they're just a beautiful creation of God, and the fact that you kill them is, it's probably for the meat. right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So when the picture I seen, it looked like the buck was giant. Is that kind of like fish pictures? You know,
Yeah,
are you
sometimes.
putting yourself 10 feet behind the deer to make the deer look bigger?
Yeah, you have to with the ones I get.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Used to kill it. You're a baby killer, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Bambi.
Big.
All right, let's forget about that. Danny,
Yes.
you get phone calls every day, hopefully. You know, this week
Oh,
has
yeah.
been a little slow. What's some of the craziest things, or let's say, I don't want to be offensive. So some of the more common sense things that you might have to tell a borrower, you know, like, hey, don't do this before we close, or, you know, give me some insight on what the average borrower needs to know that might also be kind of kooky.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is once you start a loan, don't go and open up any new trade lines. And we've had deals we've got down a day or two before closing, and they'll go to the furniture store, buy a whole house of furniture, and blow their debt ratios out of the water. It's happened.
So you're getting a new house. Don't go out and buy new furniture until
after you close. Day
Yeah.
after you can close,
Well, what if it's
that's it.
zero? What if it's 0% financing, no payments for 90 days?
Doesn't matter. They're going to assess a payment against you.
So you've seen it mess deals up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Have you seen some people do some kind of wild things right before closing that throws a little hairball in it?
This is like Family Feud. You know, I'd say the number one answer is don't quit your job before you close. I've had people quit their jobs and say, well, you pre-approved me and I quit my job. So unfortunately, the day of or day before closing, the lender calls and re-verifies that you're still on the job. So let's not quit our job. What the whole basis of your loan is based on your income. Let's not do that.
Good idea.
Just a thought.
Yeah. What about things like collateral or co-signers? What's kind of some of the craziest stuff that's maybe come across your desk where people say, can I do this? Maybe this will help someone realize they can't do it.
Well, tough part on that is we run in a lot of situations. People have a lot of equity in their house or other assets and want to use that as collateral. Secondary market doesn't use collateral. It's all about your current debts and your current income coming in. So,
Yeah.
Or they want to go out and borrow against it, or they co-sign for their child to buy a new car, but the bank person told them it wouldn't matter that they're co-signing, so it does matter,
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's additional liability.
Huh. Okay.
So let me ask you all this. So with the current situation we're in now with this government shutdown, how has that affected y'all from day to day? Because I know you guys do a lot of secondary market stuff. So what does that look like for y'all, and what do you see in the future for it right now?
The biggest part is affected is the USDA rural development loan. It gets underwritten by federal government at the very end, and we can get the loan all the way to in line for them to review, but until they open back up, they're going to sit there until they can get reviewed.
Kind of sit in the queue and
Yep.
wait, huh?
So that doesn't, with FHA, VA, I mean, that's also government backed, right?
Yeah, the programming's different though. USDA, they actually put their hands on it. The government agency does, but on FHA and VA, they don't. The lenders do the guarantee for the government, so that's not affecting those. So basically, we're at what, day 38, 39?
Yep, 38.
So basically, that puts that loan 38 days behind on the USDA part. So if it takes us 25 days to get it to them, now we're going to wait another, over a month for them to do the commitment. So.
Wow. Does that affect their rate? Does the rate lock, I'm guessing the investor throws out a rate, so let's say it's 6%, and now you've already been in under contract for 3 weeks. Now you got to wait another 38 days. What's that going to do with the rate?
So the ones that initially came in that before the government shut down, we had them locked in 30 days on the rate, so nothing can ever change. But now with the circumstances of the government being shut down, the only thing we can do is let their locks expire. Otherwise, they're going to incur charges for extending their rate locks. Now, anything new that we've been doing since the government opened up is we're not locking them. We're floating them coming in. Once the government opens back up, then we'll go in, take a look at rates and see where they're at turn time wise, and then, get the rate possibly locked in right away after they open back up.
So let's say there's a small percent chance that someone actually listens to this podcast, okay?
Very small.
Very small chance. So
It's
right
smaller by the
now,
moment.
it's probably all our views and listeners are
The
probably
4 of
you.
us sitting in this room.
Yeah, we'll probably
Okay.
listen to it. But let's say someone listens to this here in the next 24 hours and they're ready to buy a house. Chris, is it a good time? What should you, let's say they're a renter, they want to go buy a house. What advice would you give them right now?
Well, it is a good time to buy because rates have come down marginally. So we are close to some of the better rates we've had in probably the last 12 months. It appears that house prices are leveling,
Mm-hmm.
maybe coming down a little bit, or sellers a little more willing to negotiate right now. And I mean, from one side of it, we're encouraging people to stay away from USDA if they have other options. But if that's their only option, we're encouraging them to write. And if sellers are willing to accept, there's a certainty that we know, especially being in the business for 30 years, and this is not our first shutdown. And this is not the first time USDA has gotten this far behind, even without a shutdown, is that it is going to open back up. So, if sellers are a little more patient, then consumers and first-time home buyers using 100% financing just need to go ahead and write it. So
what are the rates looking like right now? Are they,
your government money's in the 5s, and your conventional money's in the mid to upper 5s into the 6s, depending on programs. It depends on rates, terms, LTVs, credit scores, so a lot of variables, but that's the ranges are in right now.
So Danny, you've been doing this long enough, 10 plus years now. And I hear this not daily. And I bet maybe you guys hear it. I'm going to wait until rates go back down. So people have a notion and they're stuck in their head that 2, 3, and 4% is the norm. Tell me what you think about that.
Oh, to me, it's my adage is marry the house, date the rate. The rates are going to change. The hardest part's been trying to find a property that's going to pass your inspections, pass appraisals. We've had quite a bit of fallout due to inspections. So if you find one and you think it's good and inspection looks good on it, stay on it.
And kind of where I was going with that, and Kyler, you can chime in, but I think the days of 2, 3, and 4%, I don't think that was the norm. A lot of people think that was normal. I don't think that's normal. I think a rate around 5%, I think that if you look over the last, 15, 20 years, I think 5% is a good rate. I think if you looked at a scale and then seen the 2, 3, 4%, I think that's a real small section on the scale. Chris, give us your wisdom.
I could tell you historically, before we saw rates really drop over like a 25 or 30-year period, if I remember correctly, an average fixed rate was like 7.375.
Yeah.
Until we saw the drop that we saw so low. I mean, I think a super stable market long term without much rate fluctuation is government stuff, maybe in the high 4s, 5%, which we're getting close to that right now, and your conventional stuff, 5.25 range. I think if we can stay in that market, that would be great for buyers, sellers, for people that have CDs and long-term investments and stuff like that. And then the other flip side of what Danny said, marry the house, date the rate, is that, historically and from an economist standpoint, if rates drop like that, home prices are going to go up.
Yep.
So, the anticipation was that if rates drop to 5, that you'll see I think it was like a 13% increase in home prices. So how much farther you're getting ahead when the rates drop and waiting to buy then is probably not as far ahead as you would get as if you bought the house now and then refinanced your rate later because you bought the house cheaper and you got the better rate.
Very nice. Well, so if somebody was looking to get pre-approved and wanted to come in, how long does that process usually take to get somebody,
Yeah,
pre-approved?
we got that streamlined. They can come in either in the office, do it in person, over the phone. We got an online application. We vet those, as soon as they come across the table, we're calling, leaving email messages. Hey, got your application. Give us a buzz. Let's sit down, fill in the blanks. And they get us, documents, income, assets. If they can get it to us same day, we'll have them setting on go very next day or
Yeah.
same day.
And we're a little different from everybody else, though.
You
So-
are a little different.
Yeah, I'm a lot
Extremely.
different, actually. So,
Yeah,
we want to. One thing that people might want to miss there is we want to see documentation. We want to see pay stubs. We want to see tax returns. We aren't not going to issue a pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter without seeing your information. There are some one-offs there when we know somebody's just getting Social Security or whatever, but we want to see it because it's very important. Because most people will tell you they work 40 hours a week at $20 an hour, and we get their pay stubs in and they're working 37 and a half hours a week, at $19.75. And as little as that may seem, that can make a big difference between being approved for $200,000 or $250,000. So we're like Willy Wonka. When you get our golden ticket, you know that you can go buy a house. So our approval, our approval
Nice.
from start to finish, as far as when we approve the buyer, our fallout is virtually zero. That doesn't mean the home doesn't close because of appraisal or home inspection or title issues. But us telling you can go buy, golden ticket, baby, get all the chocolate you want.
heck yeah. You scared me for a second because I thought you was gonna say you just never know what you was gonna get.
Right? Yeah.
So I'm glad that's what you went with. But yeah, that's awesome. So if somebody shows up they want to do a pre-approval, what documents do they need to bring? So it saves a lot of hassle.
I mean, just to show up, they probably don't need to bring much. They got to bring them. They just got to call, right?
Just call. A lot of times if they're just W-2 employees and they tell us they're not getting much overtime or anything, we'll just bring a paycheck stub, a recent pay stub with all your year-to-date earnings on it.
So super simple.
Super simple to start. Now, if you get in, it's a lot more complicated. There'll be other things we want to see, but we do a really good job of vetting people, especially we talk to them over the phone, knowing, if you're in this industry, we know that you get a lot of overtime. If you're in this industry, we know you're on commission, so on and so forth. So that changes what we want to see from you.
We try not to browbeat our clients. We tell them right up front, hey, you're looking at a full body cavity search. It's going to seem like on everything we're going to ask you for, but
I feel like that was in a radio commercial one time.
It
Something about a
was.
full
Yeah, that might have been one of my
cavity
radio
search.
commercials. It's like a full body cavity search. We do it with warm hands.
Yeah.
And if you feel violated when we got done with you, it went just like we said. And if you don't feel violated, it went great.
Exactly. That sounds good. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming out and sharing a little bit. I know you got the holidays coming up. You guys got any big plans for the holidays? Thanksgiving's around the corner.
I'm thinking I'm going to bet Joey Pegler $500 on Grow a Beard in about 8 days.
That's right. I said that in the beginning. So
Days? How about
Chris-
9?
Nasari,
9. No shave November. I've done
Shave
that.
November. I started it back in, I didn't start No Shave November. I participated in No Shave November in 2011. And I can tell you right now, I've kept a beard ever since to prove my sales. My wife thinks I'm better looking. I think I'm better looking, and I'm kind of a homely guy. So for Nasari, you're already on top of your game. If you grew a beard and kept it, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Danny's got a beard.
Dan-
Tyler's got some
Danny's
sort of
got hair, though.
half rug on his
don't know.
face. I'm not really
Tyler's
sure what
still
it is.
rocking the 90s goatee.
yeah,
So
man,
He
I'm
can't
not letting
quite
it go.
fill in. He must have a little Indian in him.
I do. How'd you know?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. There.
I won't tell you what tribe, but
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it.
a little Indian in me.
yeah, a little patchy.
But
A little patchy. That's what Indian tribe he was in.
yeah,
Little patchy.
little Apache.
Little patchy.
But
Well, guys, as Kyler said, thanks for coming in. I doubt anybody will listen to this, but if they do, hey, Nasari Home Mortgage, they have been here for 30 years and they're doing good things. And we work alongside them. They work with every real estate company here in town. And you know, I might get in trouble for saying this, but they're the go-to guys when it comes to secondary market. Okay. I do business with all the banks here in town. And let me tell you, they're not clocking in at 8 and checking out at 5. So when someone's looking for that long-term 30-year fixed, 20-year fixed rate, there's not going to be anybody that works harder than Chris and Danny. And you know what? I won't get in trouble because all these lenders in town, with all of these banks in town, they know that. But you know what you won't hear is you won't hear Nasari Home Mortgage saying Pegler Real Estate Group's the best in town, because you know what? They work with all these guys. They take care of them.
Well, who's number one in sales over the last, I don't know,
I don't
5,
know.
10 years?
Yeah, let's.
I mean, I'm asking a question. It's not rhetorical.
Yeah,
Who is that?
I think it. Yeah, it might have been Kyler.
No, I'm talking about
Robbins
companies.
Company.
Who's
You
been-
know,
who's
we are
been number
blessed
one?
to be number one since 2017.
Okay,
But I can tell you this.
wondering.
I can tell you this. I am good buddies with these guys here, but he takes care of everybody. Nasari Home Mortgage takes care of everybody in this town. And I appreciate his partnership, and I appreciate that they treat every one of these companies with what they need. They need to get the job done. If you need a home loan done, start to finish, Nasari Home Mortgage will take care of you.
You bet. Yep. You guys, like I get say, thanks for being here and enjoyed it. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks for
All
having
right.
us.
Adios.
See ya.
Till next.